So the NFL hasn't had its Luka trade quite yet, but there's still time. T-minus 1 week until the NFL trade deadline, so mark your calendars. November 4th at 4 Eastern, a good time for contenders to bolster their rosters ahead of the stretch run to the postseason. So let's welcome in our friend Tyler Sullivan. And Tyler, a team who could use a few tweaks as last year's Super Bowl champ. So you have a few proposed trades for us, and you ranked them. So at number 5, you said the Eagles should make a move for Seahawks corner Riq Woolen. Why is this a piece that Philly needs?
Yeah, Emily, and I don't think you would look at the Seahawks and say they're going to be sellers at the deadline, right? I think it'd be, all right, they should be contending for the division. They should be firmly in the wild card spot. But this is a player that is a little bit expendable. He's going to be a free agent this offseason, and they are getting some pieces back on the defensive side of the ball, and Devin Witherspoon being key among them. So that makes somebody like Woolen a little bit expendable, and Philadelphia certainly needs a number 2 cornerback opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. Dory Jackson hasn't lived up to that billing. He's now dealing with a concussion, forced him out last week. So this is an opportunity here to get somebody who, former 5th-round pick, but former Pro Bowler during his rookie season, had 6 interceptions. So again, someone who might be expendable for Seattle, someone not in their long-term future, but Philadelphia certainly could use some help in that secondary, specifically at cornerback.
It does take 2 to tango, so you need the Seahawks to be on board with this. But if they're not, your number 4 trade is Saints corner Alontae Taylor. You've, of course, established Philly's need for a corner, but what could he potentially add?
Yeah, and New Orleans certainly not in the same situation as Seattle. They are very much going in the wrong direction. They've just now named Tyler Shuck as their starting quarterback, so they are very much in a rebuilding phase. And Alontae Taylor is a very talented player. As much as we're kind of, saying that New Orleans is not a good football team, Taylor is a very good, underrated corner. So this would be someone who I think would be a great culture fit with Philadelphia, a physical player, can play on the outside, can play on the inside, versatile, which could help them in that secondary. But to me, again, someone who's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. So if New Orleans does look at him and say, you know what, maybe not part of our long-term future, we're starting a new quarterback, we're continuing to this rebuild process, let's go and get some draft capital for a talented player, and Philadelphia upgrades their secondary.
Sticking with defense for your number 3 proposed trade, how about Miami linebacker Jaelan Phillips? Why is he a good fit?
Yeah, because the Philadelphia Eagles need help on the edge. I mean, we have seen them this season. That was kind of their calling card last year en route to a Super Bowl. Yes, they got a lot of pressure on the interior, but they still got help off the edge. This year, they haven't seen anything. Za'Darius Smith is their leading sack getter with 1.5, and Za'Darius Smith is now retired off the edge. So someone like Jaelan Phillips, who has been up and down throughout his career, largely due to injuries, but there's no denying his talent. And the Miami Dolphins are a team that, yes, got a win over the weekend, but if they look themselves hard in the mirror, they are a team probably not going to be competing for the playoffs this season. He is someone who's going to be a free agent after this season. So again, one of those situations where you look at the player, you ask yourself the question, is he going to be a long-term piece for us? And if not, Philadelphia makes a lot of sense. They just had to have Brandon Graham come out of retirement to help them off the edge. So I think they could do themselves some favors here by bringing in a young piece like Phillips to help that pass rush.
Yeah, certainly a risk, though. As you mentioned, that injury history involves an Achilles tear, an ACL tear, but somebody who at his peak has played fantastic. Your number 2 trade, along the same lines, let's try Jets linebacker Jermaine Johnson. The need for a linebacker and that help off the edge is evident, so how could Johnson help the Eagles right away?
Yeah, I really like this fit for the Philadelphia Eagles because it's not just a Band-Aid for 2025. This is someone who has his club option picked up through 2026. So you could conceivably have somebody at relatively low cost in terms of being on a 5th-year option for the next couple of years. And so that, to me, would require Howie Roseman to kind of go in his bag a little bit more and spend a little bit more than maybe you're looking at with some of those other guys that I've mentioned. But there's no denying that when Jermaine Johnson is healthy, another player dealing with injury history, but when he has been healthy, he is someone that can flirt with double-digit sacks, flirt with 7.5, 8 sacks throughout his career. So to me, this is someone who, again, would instantly come in and, again, when healthy, be a legitimate presence, something that they don't currently have at the moment.
This feels like a theme of this segment, when healthy, because the next person I'm going to ask about your number one trade proposal is for Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson. He right now is dealing with a hip injury after Sunday's loss to the Jets. But once he is healthy, why is he this missing piece to the Eagles D?
Well, certainly he is someone that, when healthy, and again, we're throwing that caveat out there a bunch now, but he is someone that is a legitimate game wrecker. We've seen it over the last couple of years. 17.5 sacks in 2023, 17.5 sacks in 2024. He is someone that is a splash. You want to talk about blockbuster moves, this would certainly be one. And if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you do have to kind of see here with Trey Hendrickson, because you have yet to sign him to a long-term extension. This has been a narrative that's been going on for the last couple of years now. You gave him a sweetener for 2025 to end his holdout, but overall, they have not treated this player like he is a long-term option for them. Yes, he's over the age of 30, maybe not someone that they want to sign long-term, but if the Joe Flacco situation is running dry and they are maybe starting to be on the downward swing after losing to the New York Jets, you have to seriously consider selling. And if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, this is the exact type of player that you should bring in, because again, when healthy, is a game wrecker, is someone who could legitimately take over games, and they are firmly, of course, in their Super Bowl window. So if Trey Hendrickson is just a rental piece, that's fine for a team that has a ceiling that can hoist a Lombardi trophy.
I have to give up quite a bit to land him. It seems like everybody wants a piece of Trey Hendrickson, but can certainly help the Eagles' hopeful run to another Super Bowl. Tyler, appreciate you. You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS. Big time games this weekend in the early and late windows. How about Chiefs Bills? That's at 4:25. You can watch it all on CBS and stream on Paramount Plus.